This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
We are back with Bhavna Srivastava. She is the owner of a health and wellness group. Yeah, it's called BH Wellness Group. She's an amazing coach and so much more. And we're going to get to know her again today. If you haven't, last time, as a grand Reiki master teacher, trainer, she's a transformational coach. She's helping so many and has inspired so many with her story, but really is aiming to, help so many people around the world, which is what she's doing today. And even savingpeople.org, we're going to talk about too. So welcome back. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you, Jill, for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Well,
And
same here. Pleasure to have you back. Tell us a little bit about what you do and give us a little overview.
so you've covered most of it. I am a transformational coach and a lifestyle mentor. I'm also a speaker. I'm a best-selling author of 5 books, and I just love people and working with people.
Beautiful. Well, we're excited you're back with us today and really want to hone in on, the work you're doing. In particular, I know you mentioned you want to talk about your nonprofit, which is something we didn't get to do last time. So tell us, please give us a little overview and let's get started about, who inspired you, how it started, and what it's all about.
So my nonprofit is called Saving People, and it was created in April of 2020 when we were in the midst of COVID, and there was a panic going on, and I was literally sleeping when I told you about my journey with connection with God and talking to Him all the time.
Yes.
He said it's time to, remember what I told you in 2015. And I was like, I just like literally woke up and I was like, what? He's like, it's time to create that nonprofit now. So he had given me the name Saving People in 2015 in one of my meditation when I was talking with him. And I'd written it down. It's still in my phone. Um, and I said, okay. And then next thing I know, next day, I was applying for it. And within 1.5 weeks, I got the nonprofit 501(c)(3) status. I mean, that's how fast everything works when you're in
Wow.
alignment. And then there was no looking back because I started to help people, feed people, first responders, nurses, doctors who are working on the COVID floor. Because what I realized is they were so exhausted and tired, especially the nurses. Sometimes they were doing 2 shifts. And I was in Massachusetts in Shrewsbury, Worcester area. And, you know, and they would just come home, take a shower, and sometimes just without meals, just go to bed because they were so exhausted and tired. So I started to take care of that, started to get food to some of them so that they could start to have some healthy meal. I was like, no, 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 you can't go without food. You're very important for us. And then connected with the community, and I got fabric, and we had people who were sewing masks, and we started to donate those. We got caps made. So we were helping people who were working and all the offices who were open, like just rehabs, hospitals, and we even worked with UMass Memorial. I was working with the director to help them with different communities they were working with and who needed that, who didn't have, like, at that time it was the beginning, so it was a shortage of masks and everything. So we started to help get masks to everybody we could think of, first responders, firefighters, everybody. So we had so many people in the community who stepped up. And then I realized there were people who were hungry, who lost jobs, families, especially women who had kids and single moms
Yeah.
and 2, 3 kids, and they didn't know what to do. And because everything just shut down. So being a mom myself and having children, and I was like, I cannot have that happen. What do we do, God? And so I reached out to a lot of churches, temples, everybody to let me use their, kitchen
Oh,
because I wanted to cook for so many people, veterans who were, some
yeah.
of them homeless, and uh, and Everybody refused. Everybody said no. And I was like heartbroken. I was like, you're not doing anything. I'll make
Mm-hmm.
sure I leave it spanking clean. I'll clean everything and go. Or if you want, I can bring my own. And they were like, no. So I never received anybody saying. So then I said, you know what? I'm just going to cook myself. I'm doing it at home. And people who want it, just come and take it from me. So then I reached out to the community. This is what I wanted to do. And people wanted to donate money. I was like, no, 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 I don't have the time. Send me the groceries. So I started receiving groceries almost every day. And whatever I received, and I was no packaging, no
Yeah.
processed food. So I started to create healthy meals. And then I started to have people who wanted, they started coming. There were people who were coming to pick up and deliver. So we had that going. We got food and 100% of all that food I started to cook. I have pictures on Facebook on Saving People on
Ah,
org, and people can go and see it. So every day I would cook big, huge meals, and then my husband started seeing because when you're cooking a lot, I'm not so big. So just moving, stirring, and putting it, and that was heavy. So then he stepped in and he's like, let me help you stir it. Let me help you do this. So we started to do it as a family. And my son said, okay, so if some days we didn't have people to deliver, he was like, okay, mom, I'll go it. I'll go. Where do you want? So
aw,
we had my family come in, support, and then we had people from the community come in. Bhavna, what do you want? What is it we want? You want today? And we had one restaurant that stepped in, saying one day I can
so
provide.
cute.
So I worked with mustard seeds. I worked with a shelter, a men's shelter with 17 to 18 men living there, and we were sending them food every day. And they were like surprised. It's like, we've been working for open for 40 years and nobody's ever fed people here. And you're the first one. I said, in this time, I cannot leave the people who are there with you hungry because they also don't have jobs. So even if men are struggling, they also need to eat, right? So I was like, they were like, we've never heard anybody say that and think like that. And I said, I'm different and I'm unique. And then I got people, and because the school was supposed to get open in September, so then we started to help. I started to think there's so many families who were taking food from me that
Oh,
didn't have jobs, and kids were growing, and we have winter. So they still needed, coats, boots, shoes, all of those, and they might not have that. So I asked my people who know me and who love me, I said,
yeah.
can I have some donations on that, please? And they all just donated. And then we just opened it out. And I talked
Ah,
to one of my person, and she worked with her church. So I had two different, same counties, but two different towns, one in Westboro and one in Fitchburg. They opened up their doors and they created a thrift store. So my only condition was nothing should be more than $50, 50 cent, like 50 cents. And they were like, okay, and so that people can afford that and they still don't feel they didn't pay for it. So we started that and we got a lot of donations. I helped with that. And it's, I think, still going on. And then we started working with, teachers reached out to me. They were so stressed. They were like, we don't know how to do this computer thing, Zoom thing, because not everybody is compatible and technical. And so I started to, okay, I will help you out. So I just started to teach them with that, and I started to de-stress them about it. And then there were parents who reached out who were trying to manage working from home and having kids, trying to balance. So I started to helping them out. And then the kids, because they didn't know, and they were like young adults, especially, parents started to reach out for them because now they were disconnected from their friends. And, so it was sort of at that time a big chaos, especially for the young adults who actually dropped down, um, in their mental health status. And it was an unfortunate thing that we had a lot of demand at that time, but less counselors because I was talking to all the counselors and they were all full. And I said, okay. I'm a coach and I'm going to step up. So I also helped with one of my counselors at my center. She said, okay, Bhavna, I'm in. What do you want to do? So we started helping that. And then I reached out, parents. I said, okay, I'm a coach. I'm not a counselor, but I can coach. And how can I help them? And I'm also the golden light healer. So then parents started reaching out. I remember a call I received from a mother. So I went global and she reached out and with one hand, she had me on the phone, and with the other hand, she had her daughter, and she was holding her, whose both her feet were on the window, ready to jump out. And so I had less than a minute or few seconds to get
Oh,
her feet. And thank, I always say, thank you, God. I was able to do that. And so there were so many things like that which happened at that time, which, shifted me to be more humble and, grateful that I was alive at that time and I was able to help people. Because at that moment, Bhavna's Wellness Group, because of, we had to close down because every business had to close down for that time period. And so we moved online. But then when I created them, saving people, I said, okay, I'm going to start helping people and wherever I can and however I can. So then we also started to do every day because there was so much fear. I was talking to people and they were so scared, listening and seeing so many people who were, passing away, loved ones. So I said, okay, let's start meditation. And we went online on Facebook and we did meditation every single day. For
wow.
20 minutes, we started to chant Om. And it was interesting. People even actually started, after some time, started posting pictures that their trees in their community area where they were chanting, they
Oh,
lived from everywhere in the world. On top of the trees, on the leaves, it was automatically written Om, O-M, or the design Om, and nobody could reach that height and nobody can write that. But
yeah.
it was the weirdest thing. And they took pictures and they started to, like, Bhavna, we're chanting Om. And afterwards, I went out of the window in my balcony and I saw on the tree leaves, Om was printed there. And I was like, wow, this is.
How? What a miracle. Oh my goodness.
It was amazing to see what we were doing. The nature was also receptive and picking up. And I was so humbled with that. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then it didn't stop right there. We just continued. That just empowered me to help more people. Like I was always like, what do I do? What do I do? How can I help people? What can I do? And basically, it started off with that. And, we built pillars, which was serving people, feeding people, empowering people, educating people, and wellness for the people. So we did a lot of mental health. And then we started also, I met a couple, they showed me a picture of a little 10-year-old with a little baby in her hand. And I was like, what's this? She's like, this is her baby. I was like, what? A 10-year-old? She's like, this is what is happening in Liberia. And my heart was broken. And I was like, do you have people there? And she's like, yes. I was like, if we send things, can you help? And she's like, yes. And she has her own nonprofit, and we collaborated. And she was able to send two big truck containers full of all the things you can think of, and we send it there with donations. So there was books, there was utensils, they were clothes, they were, you name it, computer. They were things which could help, sheets, things so that she said Liberia had been in war, so the adults are living in the trauma of that, so they're just moving their kids forward. And I was like, this is not nice. We have to stop this, and let's educate them. Let me send you books. So we got books, notebooks, crayons. Like, I want the kids to be educated. I want them to have a life. I want them to have food, So we send utensils, we send food, and we send like anything and everything we can think of. We send it in two containers to them. And they sent pictures. They said, Bhavna, whatever you sent has helped them. We've got people and they are working. And so it was so good to know that, you know. And then we stepped up. We went to India because I'm from India. So I was talking to a couple of volunteers who started connecting together, and they created their own company. Like at that moment, they like, we will help out. What do you want us to do? And so the doctors, and they got the plasma, so which they could reverse the COVID and they could help people with that. So they started to see, and I said, if you can take people who are healthy, take them to the hospitals safely, get that plasma donated, and then bring them back. And then if we can have the families who are struggling and who have COVID, can we feed those families? And they were like, yes. So I started to do donations from here, and they started to do that. So we had a couple of young adults who started to help us, and we were able to reach out to them and feed people who had COVID. And then we were also able to do, there was I remember there was in Mumbai, there's a group of actually 21 blind girls, and who normally work, and I got to know through my parents now, they didn't know, they didn't have food, they didn't know what to do and where to get it. So I said, okay, I can help out. So we started sending donations there. So my parents were able to go donate there. I knew from the people I knew that this will happen. So that's why we were able to do with all the connections we had to help out as many people as possible, you know. And
Wow.
so it just started, going and getting bigger. And then people started joining, and we started to get things done. And then we also did like classes with IICT in Mumbai. We connected with them, and we taught aromatherapy classes. Like the education pillar comes in, and how to take care of yourself and the fears, and if something happens, what kind of oils can you use? So we started to educate, empower people, like, don't be scared, let's do this, let's do this, you can still take care, naturally do things. Because there was, at that time, vaccination wasn't there, and people were
Yeah.
so scared. So we were like, okay, let's take care naturally. What can we do, you know
Mm-hmm.
and what can you do at home? Because so it was so important at that time, because people were just like stuck. And that was where we just started. And I was there for 2 years in Massachusetts, and then I moved down to Florida. And then we had, as soon as I moved down, we had the Hurricane Ian here. And then I didn't know anybody, and I was like, how can I help people again? There was so much here, destruction here. And I didn't know anybody here. And my husband's like, there she goes again. She's like, okay. And I was like, I know the mayor has put this here, and we can, but I was like, I want to help local people. What can I
Oh.
do? So I connected with a church here, and then we started to go out and give clean water, because some of the houses didn't have all of that. So we started to go give clean water, meals, hot meals. And when I went there, the biggest thing which also touched me, it was we started going to seniors' houses and checking
Mm-hmm.
on them. And there was one lady I remember very clearly, me and there was another team, a group of people that we went, and he was a pastor. And so we went there, and she just held on to me, almost 80 plus years old. She held on to me. She said, can I hug you? And I said, sure. And I hugged her, and she just cried and cried. And, she's like, thank you for coming. She was like, I was so scared, you know. And at that moment, I realized, it dawned on me, like, we forget about the seniors so many times. And when they don't have family near them and they're living by themselves, this can also, create so much fear inside of them. And it hurts, And I just held on to her. And I also, I had tears in my eyes, and I held her till she calmed down. And, you know, and so we gave lot of hugs. And I think I say that I said I just did free hugs that time to seniors, and that's it. I didn't do much, but I just did that. And but I feel that was also very important because we should never forget the seniors because we are here because of them. You know, that's something I always try to create that balance. As much as we love our kids, we should love our seniors. We should never neglect them, thinking they're old, they're useless, they're not doing anything. Well, they did
They are
whatever.
amazing, so much wiser, so much, so much. Ah, it breaks my heart. Ah, it breaks my heart. Oh my gosh, how valuable they really are in society and how people, I hate the stigma of someone getting old and how people do treat them, but their brain, they're alive, they're so there. They're just, I love, this is amazing, all the work that you're doing and you're helping everyone, different ages all over. Wow.
Exactly. And it was very interesting because when I went and I got the nonprofit and I was writing and the articles and everything, and then people were like, no, just focus, I have that logical brain which comes in, like getting a business plan and
Mm-hmm.
talking to people, okay, this is what I want to do 5 pillars. And they're like, no, just pick one. Focus on one. And I was like, no, we can't do just one. There's so many people having so many different things, and I
Yeah.
want to each one out, and I can't say no to them because I have to just do this. And I proved, I mean, if they are listening, I proved to each one of them that if you open your heart and if you're ready to help people, there's so much we can do. And people do need that help. We have to be, because it's not about people needing help, it's that time where we all have to come together. And I kept saying that too. And I keep still saying that. We all have to come together to help each one of us because you never know when we require some help, right?
No,
But if you don't do
exactly.
that, nobody comes for you,
Oh, oh
right?
my
So,
goodness.
and I was telling people, and they were look at me, and they would look at me and like, okay, how much money does your nonprofit have? And I was like, I don't have much because whatever I receive, I give it back 100% to the people. And I'm not one of those, I have God's grace on me that my husband earns and he takes care of that part. So I don't need that money. I'm taking that money and the donation and giving it back to people who
Mm,
need. And so, and I tell people, if you want to join with saving people, volunteer or donate, do it with that intention that this is going out to help people, you know, fully. And, I always tell people reach out to me. And then now here also we are feeding people, families who are struggling. So I've connected with a couple of people locally here who are helping out. And I'm like, okay, I don't have a team, but I'm me here, one person, but one person I always believes it always starts with that one person, and then everybody starts connecting and joining. And if you are aligned with me, help more people, save more lives, build communities, bring in love, one love, unity. Like that is what is saving people all about. We are all about community, unity. We are all about saving lives. We're all about one love, just putting that message out, you know. So,
wow. Thank you. Inspirational. And if you are just tuning in, this is amazing. You are a global spiritual guru. We're speaking to a transformational coach, and she's been touched, and she's making a difference. And now to learn more about her this week, it's pretty impressive. So you're helping. People, and you're really saving lives, and you're making a difference in all different facets, right? As you mentioned, I mean, there's so much that you could do, and you do need help with volunteers, you need help with donations. Do you have saving people, is there a project or any retreats or events coming up that you are doing in the community that we should be aware of?
yes, we are doing a fundraising. We are going to be starting that in 2 months. So we are preparing for that. And I'm looking for donations and volunteers to take this to a whole different level so we can go and do more people. We reach out more people. And we are also doing mental health awareness. We are helping people by coaching, and a lot of people have stepped up. especially young adults, with mental health blockages, I'm not good enough, all those feelings which come in. So we are giving those, we are helping people weekly. And how can I be stable? How can I? Because not everybody goes to, one thing I realized, and as I meet people, not everybody goes sees a therapist or a counselor. And,
True.
but they do, it's life. You go through stresses and you don't
Sure
know what
do.
to,
Yep.
and you don't know, and you might not have time. So I say weekly, if you have 15 minutes, come spend with me, 12:30 to 12:45, and let's change your mind to be more positive, and let's shift you so that you can do what you're here to do, whether it's your work. So join me every Thursday, 12:30 to 12:45. I'm calling it blockage removal series. Any blockages in your mind, so you can be who you are, you know, which says like, okay, nobody's here for me. I'm
Yeah.
all alone, I feel very abundant. I feel not good enough. All those feelings, like, okay, let's do this. Let's clear you up. A lot of time people say, I have this fog. I feel lost. When you come for those 15 minutes, we do instantly 15 minutes of clearing. You immediately have that clarity, you have that focus, you go back and you start to do anything and everything. So I kept it Eastern time, 12:30 to 12:45, so that everybody globally can be available at that time, because Europe also, that's their afternoon,
Yeah.
evening.
Yes.
Pacific, it's
Uh-huh.
their early morning. India, it's their night, and then Eastern time, it's our lunchtime. So
It is. Oh
I,
my goodness.
so hopefully people can start joining in that um, mission, or I would say movement, to be more healthy, mentally healthy. Because if you're mentally, emotionally healthy, your body, physical is healthy, and if you are, then that's how you can be happy.
Ah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you back here, and thank you for doing what you do. We always appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now tell us all the ways that we could reach out to you, including saving people.
Yeah, so it's simple, savingpeople.org. You can go there, you can sign up, click, and join the programs. You can reach out to me for anything. My number is 774-242-2112. And if you reach out, text Jill so that I know you've heard this program, and that's why you're reaching out from here.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Pleasure having you back and wishing you all the best. And wow, thank you for taking your gift and helping so many and continuing to do so. It's beautiful. Thank you.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.